Good morning and welcome to another OnShape tutorial. Today we have laying out our orthographic drawings. So once we have a finished isometric and a 3D part, we can go ahead and lay it out. That way if we needed to send it to somebody, they would be able to produce it. So to start a brand new file, we're going to do the same thing. There's nothing different. So create document. This time we're going to name it top layout. So we'll do the top one first, and then you'll be able to do the bottom one on your own. So the first thing we need to do is change it from being a drawing. So instead of being in the Part Studio, and we also do not want an assembly right now, we're going to go to that plus right there, and we're going to go to create drawing. When you open up your first drawing, it will show you something different because mine went to recently open. So if you can't see any recommendations, you're going to click this OnShape, and actually the first one we want is that ANSI A inch. So A is the size of our piece of paper, and we want all of our measurements done in inches. So it should be the first option, ANSI A inch dot DWT drawing. So hit OK, and it will bring us to here. So the first thing we want to do is set up our title block down here. So automatically pull your name in, today's date, and then I'll be able to approve it right here, right, or send back any comments. Title, you can click, and you're just going to name it right here, top drawing. All right, and then I just clicked off of it. You can also hit that green check. Now we have three levels of drawing here, so you can just click and hit delete on your keyboard to get rid of those extras. We just need one. Doesn't matter which of the three you have. If you wanted it in the center, you can move it up too. All right, so size A, that's the size of paper again. Drawing number O01. All right, just delete those dots. And finally, scale. Now, we would usually reserve this to see if our drawing fits on our sheet of paper. If you're drawing something that's 12 inches long, you're not going to be able to fit that in a full scale on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So you would have to scale it down. Now, I know that the biggest dimension of our part is only 2¼ inches, 2.25. So I'm going to put here that our scale is 1:1, 1:1. So what you see is true to size. I'll hit the check mark there. So I'm going to zoom out, and with my middle mouse wheel on my mouse, I'm able to pan around and move this. If you don't have a mouse, you'll have to do it with the tools at the top of the toolbar. But first thing we want to do is bring up the Sheets button. So on the left-hand side there, and then Insert View. All right, so we want to insert. We want to look for our parts. So current document, we have no parts in here. If you hit import, it's going to take you to your files on your computer. You want to go to other documents, and then I recommend going to created by me, and then you'll find all of your parts, not what other people have made. Because if you go in my OnShape, you'll see everybody that's submitted in our class. So we want your parts only. So we'll go to created by me, and we're going to start with the top. So I've already done this. It'll give you a prompt like, do you want to create the part here, and do you want to name it V1, so version 1, and you do. So I'm going to click on my part, and then you'll notice as I hover over here, it'll draw the front view of my part. Right? So what we drew on the front view, I'm going to click to drop it. And if I hover above it, you'll see it'll add my top view. And it stopped falling. So actually what happens is this detects that you don't need any other views to describe this object, but just for practice, we are, whoops, clicked too many times. We are going to add the side here. So I'm going to double click that so that it'll grab it again, or it won't. So what you're going to have to do is go to projected view of this, and then it'll grab it again. So projected view is in the top left. And I'm just going to bring this over relatively far because we want that we want it to look centered on the paper. And then I'm going to click projected view again, and I'm going to bring this out so that it's even. All right, so we have our front view, our top view, our side view, and our isometric. Right? So we described the general shape of our object, but now we need to describe the size of it. So to do that, we're going to use the dimension tool. So that we use the dimension tool to create our drawings, now we need to use them to describe them. So you can hit D on your keyboard, or you can come up here to dimension. So the way that a dimension works is if you click on 2 points, it'll tell you the measurement from one to the other. Or if you grab one, so if I was to click here and pull it out, right, it would give me how wide that piece is. So I'm not going to add that dimension. A couple things we want to talk about before we do is, number one, you always put your dimensions inside this rectangle of views. And what I mean by that is you always put your dimensions either here, 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 or here. You never want dimensions outside of your drawings. You always want them to lead to another, because just like we did whenever we were sketching, this vertical line, right, leads up to this vertical line. That orthographic projection allows us to carry our lines, and that also goes for dimensions. So that means if you're putting a dimension from here, right, and you bring it up and you say it's 0.75, that means that this up here is also 0.75, right? It allows us to carry that information to other views. Okay, so with the dimension tool, I'm going to start by grabbing this point, moving my mouse over here and clicking again so that I'm grabbing the distance from here to here is 0.75. We always start with our smallest dimensions, so 0.75, and then I'm going to keep my same base point here. I'm going to grab it here, and I'm going to click on the next vertical and bring it up. So now I'm building, right? 0.75, and then I'm bringing it up and adding another 0.75. But it looks a lot better if you do it this way instead of 0.75, 0.75, 0.75, right? So you're saying from here to here is 0.75, from here to here is 1.5, and then from here to here is 2.25. Right, so I'll drop that there as well. So what I did was just described everything on the front width-wise. Now we need to describe it height-wise. So height you can do on the front view, or you can do it on the side view. On this one, we're just going to do every single thing on the front view, because technically these two views are the exact same. We don't need both of these. We're only leaving it because it's our first drawing. We could get rid of one, usually the top, right? But I'm going to describe everything on the front. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click here with my dimension tool. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to bring all of my dimensions outside of the part. I don't want this in here. I want it outside completely. Then I'll do the same top to this one, bring it out, top to bottom, bring it over. Right? You don't have to line up your dimension numbers right here, but I think it looks nicer if you do. All right, and usually we would shade this view, but for OnShape purposes, it tends to sort of lag out a little bit. So we're going to leave it unshaded for right now. All right, that is drawing one. So what you would do is share that with me. So share, go to your teams, change the name to your class period, change can edit to can view, and hit share. Once you finish with the top view, you're going to go ahead and complete the bottom view.